It is exactly 8:35 a.m. News and views on Salam Media. Welcome back to the program. We are now going to be talking to the spokesperson, the national spokesperson for COSATU, and that is Sizwe Pamla. Very good morning to you. Welcome. Are you there, Sizwe? Very good morning to you.
Morning.
Welcome, and let me start off by saying a very happy 36th anniversary to COSATU. You were formed in December of 1985, and long may you continue to live.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so to the heart of the matter, and a very serious matter at that. We understand that COSATU is very, very worried about allegations of billions of rands being spent on questionable investments by the UIF at a company called Thuja Investments. Um, ma- Multiple reports have surfaced alleging that the UIF is intending to give 5 billion rands to a company that have been alleged of a whole host of, unanswerable questions. Would you like to share those with us?
Yes, indeed. Well, look, we've been following this story for some time. Uh, we we used to have a representative inside the UIF, but his term expired. But we've been getting reports from senior officials inside the fund, uh, having reservations about this investment because this company is not registered with the revenue. This company has got no assets. This company has got no financial statements, no records. So this has been a problem for some time. We met with the Labour Minister to raise this issue. Uh, we are happy to see that he has come out to say that there's a moratorium on this transaction until the investigation is being conducted. But
What is
that has been going on for some time. If you go back to
mm,
July of 2022, there were reports that an investment that was made in 2018 of about 1.7 billion, an investment to a UK company by UIF, led to something like 500 million being divided among senior directors. So indeed, we do have a crisis at the UIF.
I understand that this company, Thuja Investments, is owned by a prominent politically influential person who chairs a public entity that falls under the umbrella of the Department of Employment and Labour, under which, of course, the UIF too falls. Do we know who the person is, or are we unable to name him at this stage?
Yes, it's Mr. Mtwaba. You remember Mr. Mtwaba used to be, I still believe he's a senior director at Brand SA, an entity of the Department of Labor. But he was also the candidate for the director of the International Labour Organization. But his candidacy collapsed. The candidacy collapsed because he's been declared as a delinquent director because of his unethical business practices and nefarious activities that has been involved in. Which is why this is even more troubling, that someone who works for the department in some capacity is also doing business with the department. Which is why we are saying this is not just a reckless mismanagement of resources, but it's things of corruption.
Major conflict of interests here. What has Mr. Mtwaba said in his defense? Have these allegations been put to him? Has he been asked to answer to all of this?
Well, as an organization, we haven't necessarily engaged him with regards to these allegations. We have written to the president to request that we be put under administration. and that a proclamation for SIU to investigate these allegations be signed by the President. So we do hope that this will be done as soon as possible, because at the rate the looting is taking place at UIF, we won't have these funds if nothing drastic happens.
What is also more disturbing is that the fact that the Federation has been informed that the UIF's bid adjudication committee declined to approve this funding, and then subsequently the PIC, through whom the UIF invests its funds, has also rejected the funding, this whole funding proposal in its entirety. And it's further been alleged that despite their refusals to approve this funding, the management of the UIF and the department has directly intervened to overturn their decision. They want to go ahead to authorize and expedite the release of the 5 billion rand in funding. Is there any way that COSATU can put a stop to this?
Well, look, the minister has already put a moratorium on the transaction process.
Oh, yes, as you've said. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we are happy with that. But like we said, we want an SIU proclamation to be signed for SIU to investigate UIF. We also want the Auditor General to do an audit of the transactions that have happened under this leadership and the executive. The reality is that UIF has been grossly mismanaged for some time. In fact, government has always looked at UIF as a piggy bank. If you go back to the commission that investigated free education, that commission made recommendations that the UIF surplus needed to be used to fund free education. If it wasn't for the Federation putting a stop to that, the 60 billion that was released under lockdown during COVID will not have been available because it would have been spent on free education. So this isn't just about the corruption and the looting at UIF. It goes beyond that. It is actually about government and the lack of commitment to really protect this fund. But also, government itself has refused to bring the public services under the UIF. So it has no legitimate right to actually be in charge of this fund, which is why a conversation needs to start to begin of how do we as labor federations working with employer associations take this fund away from government control.
I understand that COSATU and other labor organizations will be engaging the presidency to place the UIF under administration. You want to deploy the SIU and the Auditor General to investigate all UIF investments. To further scrap this particular investment plan to Thuja Investments, which have already indicated that there is a moratorium on that. But of course, let us just understand the overriding issue here, and that is that the state government does not contribute a single cent to the UIF. This is our money, your money, and my money. The UIF is an employer contribution scheme. It exists to help workers who have lost wages due to maternity or parental leave, or when they have lost their jobs. And this obviously needs to be uppermost in all of our minds, that government hasn't invested a single cent or put in a single cent into UI funds.
Indeed, the money that is with UIF are workers' deferred wage and employer contribution. The public service was meant to be part of the UIF 3 years ago. National Treasury, realizing how expensive it was going to be for them to contribute, they refused to allow public service, and they've been resisting any attempts to bring the public service under UIF. So as things stand, yes, indeed, government is not really a stakeholder. It's only a stakeholder because this fund is under the Department of Labor. And which is why we're questioning the legitimacy of government to really be in charge of UIF, especially when you consider the kind of looting and corruption that is currently taking place in that fund.
And of course, COSATU is saying, and very, very strongly, that you will not tolerate the UIF funds to be used as slush funds for bogus investments by politically connected elites with no sense of moral bearings. What's the next step going forward apart from engaging with the presidency? Are you hoping to get an audience soon as the start of business, once everything's back to normal from next week onwards?
Well, we intend to convene a meeting of all labor federations to discuss the fate of the fund. We also will be going back to NetLeg to engage employer associations, because this is their money too, so that we can have this conversation about how do we protect UIF. We are hoping to meet the president in Bloemfontein and the ANC January 8th, because we have written 2 letters to the president requesting this process to be expedited. So hopefully we will get a solid response from the president. But the reality is we need UIF to be put under administration, and we need the Auditor General to come in. If we do not get any joy from the president, we will write to the public protector to see if it is possible for the public protector to actually investigate these specific transactions, the questionable ones that have been stopped so far.
You did say that there's a moratorium on this whole situation, the funds being handed over to Thuja Investments. Is there any way that they could slip it through without the knowledge of COSATU and other role players? Is there an even slightest chance that they could do that, and then it might be too late for COSATU or anyone else for that matter, civil society, to object very strongly to this issue?
Well, the fact that the accounting political principle has instructed them not to proceed with this gives us hope that they will not proceed. But we can't put anything past the board and the senior managers at UIF at this time. So we intend to also convene a meeting with the board to actually have a conversation with them about these allegations. The reality is now we're getting to a point where we suspect what we know is actually just the tip of the iceberg. We have our suspicions that there are billions and millions of rands that have been misappropriated, which is why we believe that an SIU proclamation is needed to dig deeper and give us a clear picture as to what has been going on.
Okay, we will be talking with you again sometime in the future to get an update on this very, very serious and worrying situation. You go well. Sizwe Pamla, COSATU National Spokesperson, regarding COSATU calling for UIF to cancel its questionable funding for a company called Thuja Investments to the tune of 5 billion rands. Thank you indeed for talking with us this morning.
Thank you.
8:48 exactly, news and views on Salam Media. Standing by to talk to us is Maulana Ibrahim. I keep saying Maulana, but it's not Maulana, it's Hafiz. Hafiz Ibrahim Musa, regarding obviously the issue around the Al-Aqsa Mosque. A very, very worrying situation there, but do stand by, inshallah.